Hello everyone, this is Jasmine from Jazz Art, and I am back with my Outlander playing card series. And for today's king, now stay with me here, I decided to do the Spades suit for the card deck as villains. So, as a little change of pace, I am drawing the king of villains, especially in Outlander, Jack Randall, Johnathan Wolverton Randall. Now, let me tell you, this was so hard for me to draw, and not because of how he looks, while that does play a factor. The reason it was hard for me to draw him is because it is so hard for me to look at him in the face anymore. Because of course, any of those of you who have watched Outlander have seen the finale of Season 1 and then parts of Season 2. But the finale of Season 1 and a lot of Season 1, where blackjacks in the scene, are not pleasant scenes. And because of that, I have a hard time actually looking at him anymore. I don't have anything against Tobias Menzies. I actually believe with the role he was given, he pulled it off very well, and credit to him, he did his job as an actor. He played a character that you hate, he made sure you hated him, and he followed through with it, so props to him. And he also played Frank, so he had to do twice as much work, so that's a lot of work. But nonetheless, I still absolutely cannot stand Jack Randall. I think out of any character in any universe, doesn't have to be Outlander, just in general, he is probably the most diabolical, terrifying, disturbing villains I've ever seen. And that is coming from somebody who reads a lot of books and loves comic books and superhero stuff, and just all around, he is my most hated character I've ever had in my life. And so I can truly say, as a villain, he did his job, and he made me hate him more than anything. So drawing this was really challenging for me in the sense that I actually had to look at him and try and create him. I originally had told myself when I started watching the show that I would never draw Jack, just because he upset me so much. But I thought it would make a good duality to the cards if I did a villain deck. Well, not a full deck, but the suits, the spades, the black spades as villains. So that way you'd have a variety, not just all good guys. Although it would be great if we could fit all the characters that I liked into this deck. I just don't think that it would fit all of them. And I wanted to make sure you had like the good guys, the bad guys, so you get a mix of both, and so you actually feel like you have the characters from the show, the story from the show, when you're holding the cards and when you're looking at the cards. So that's why I decided to go with Jack. As you can see here, I'm just going through the motions, trying to make sure I get down like a good base sketch so I can go in and clean it up later. I did have a long time of me just trying to draw this because I, again, had such a hard time looking at him directly. The familiar thing was drawing the red coat outfit because I have drawn Lord John a few times. And so this was something I could do, so I did focus a little bit more on the clothes, and you'll see it once I clean up the sketch. Now, Tobias Menzies, he did a good job playing two characters, and honestly, as much as I think it was awesome of him to do Frank and Jack, because then you could see how they're related and how she confused him for Jack and Jack for him at the beginning of the first episode. But I think it only poisoned my opinion of Frank. Because again, it made it hard for me to watch anything with Frank in it afterwards. And also, I've seen Tobias Menzies on The Crown, where he plays Prince Philip, and he does a good job. He does a good job at being that character that you want to dislike or displease, a very strong-willed character, I would say. But nonetheless, again, I have nothing against him, as much as it sounds like I have a grudge. I have a grudge against the character, not him. I can separate the two. But he really did pull off being the duality of those two characters, having to be in love with Claire and miss her and look for her and be the very accountable Frank Randall. Although I do have my own opinions of Frank, I will keep them to myself in case I decide to draw him another time. I am enjoying making these cards for you guys, and I have way more ideas for more things in the future, so make sure that you like this video, leave a comment if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I am just getting started with the good stuff, you guys. I have so many videos, you can go and check them out. I'm really trying to dedicate myself to this YouTube channel and to making my art a business, as I've been trying to my whole life. So I'm really buckling down and getting into the nitty-gritty of my art. I do have plans for who the other characters for the villain deck are going to be already. I wonder if you guys can guess them. I won't tell them to you, the answers to you right away. You'll be able to see it when the video comes out. That way it doesn't spoil it for everyone. But you can put your guesses who you think the Queen and the Jack are going to be down below. I did have it in mind when I first came up with doing the Outlander deck series of making Blackjack the Fool or the Jester, only because I wanted to make fun of him. Because I didn't want him to have proper place in the deck. But I think I will save that maybe for a different character, and I am going to go forward with making a villain deck. It gives it more of a strong, fully rounded idea, and so that way you can get the full experience of Outlander with these cards. I am planning on selling them when I am done. I will let you guys know where you can buy them. If you're looking for any updates, I do have a art Facebook, art Instagram, art Twitter, and an art Tumblr, and of course this channel, all of them under the same name, Jazz Draws Art, and I will link all of my links down below to those, and you can also find my website at jasminehume.com. One of the things that I enjoyed actually enjoyed doing this card was trying to figure out all of the way that these cards are going to connect and how they were going to stay. I did have a bit of a dilemma, and you'll see it later in this video, about whether I would make the background of the villain's cards black or give them a different background, just because I wanted them to stand out a little bit in their own right, so you could tell that they were definitely the evil, the mastermind, dark deck. But I still wanted it to be uniform with the rest of the cards, so that way when they're printed they don't just look like they're cast away or they're extras, because the rest of the decks all have the Fraser Tartan with a bluish green tint on top as the background. So I did go back and forth between whether I wanted that to be on it or not. I tried putting a black filter on top of the Fraser Tartan to see if I liked it, and in the end I ended up keeping it the same as the rest of the cards. That way they can all just match. But it's definitely obvious that this is the villain deck. It was interesting trying to find the way that I wanted to line up his jackets on both ends, the top and the bottom, just because the most important part of cards is that the drawings are supposed to flow into each other, so when it goes top and bottom, and you have to make the other image mirrored, so flipped in reverse of the other one, to make sure that it gives it the right shape and it gives it the right effect, is always a little bit of a difficult situation, because you have to figure out what lines are going to keep, what lines are going to bend, how you're going to color it, and so it looks right on both sides, and how it's going to look when you pull back and look at it as a whole. Another thing is that I'm not the best at drawing the suit little shapes, so for the spade I tried changing the heart, because it's basically an upside down heart with the little leg in it there. I tried making it by cutting out shapes, erasing pieces of it, and I ended up with making a slight curve and flipping it over so it would be totally uniform. And once the cards, I see where I'm going to print them and everything, maybe all of the cards will be touched up just so that everything's nice and crisp. I really enjoy making things like cards and posters and album covers, because I really like the idea of making something to be displayed. Not that the rest of my art isn't, because I do a lot of portrait work and I love that as well. But my favorite thing is to make something that you know people are going to use, or people are going to see a lot, or you're going to associate it with that one person or that one thing that you really love, and it's just kind of your memorabilia that you're going to have. And to have something special like playing cards or a poster or an album cover, I think that's really fun. Personally, I love posters. I have posters on every wall of my room, multiple of each poster, because I just really enjoy the atmosphere, the feeling you get. I love to look at art. Of course, I'm a visual artist, and so it was really fun to make something like this and know that I can have and hold it. All right, you guys, here it is. Black Jack Randall, the King of Spades, the King of Darkness. All right, see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!